Residents of Brighton Hove voted overwhelmingly for progressive parties in May 2019. We made your priorities our priorities. Tackling the housing crisis, the climate crisis, supporting our local businesses, and strengthening our status as an inclusive city of sanctuary.
In our manifesto, we promised to deliver 800 additional council homes over 4 years, as well as many more affordable homes, which is badly needed in our city. Now, when we left our administration, we were on course to meet that ambitious target, and we will work constructively with the Greens to ensure that they continue what we started.
We promised to bring services in-house where they would create greater social value for residents. In administration, we brought the MERS repairs and maintenance service in-house.
We promised to tackle homelessness and rough sleeping, and during our administration we helped to get over 190 rough sleepers off the streets and into settled accommodation. We also helped a further 800 people avoid homelessness. And I'm very proud to say that during the COVID pandemic, we got everybody off the streets. We got a place for everyone, and they were all cared for.
We promised to raise standards in the private rental sector, and we did so with more robust enforcement and landlord licensing. We'll continue to lobby the Tory government and local landlords to support renters throughout this pandemic and raise the housing benefit rate.
We formulated a democratic local economic strategy based on community wealth building principles and set up a cross-party working group to deliver it. It benefits all who live and work here if the money that's spent in Brighton and Hove stays to circulate in Brighton and Hove and supports local independent businesses, social enterprises and cooperatives.
Incorporated into the council's budgets promises to restore the city's heritage sites such as Madeira Terraces.
We have overseen the start of works on our seafront, from Black Rock to Sea Lanes to Shelter Hall.
We've worked closely with the police to ensure that we get tougher with drug dealing on our streets and in our communities.
We have protected our status as a city of sanctuary and lobbied government to oblige local authorities to take in more child refugees.
We used our caring Labour values to ensure that the most vulnerable in the city were protected and looked after, and that food and shelter went to everyone who needed it. I think we've left the city more resilient and more able to cope with what's ahead.
With a Labour Council working in partnership with schools, there have been year-on-year improvements in school performance.
We've been standing with the local community at the forefront of the campaign to save Moorskoon Primary School from forced academisation. We will continue to work with parents, staff and residents to lobby government and to keep our school in local hands.
We made a commitment to deliver a citywide training and development strategy to help schools to challenge institutionalised racism and make sure that Black, Asian and minority ethnic school staff, parents, carers, pupils, students and community members are at the heart of the decision-making process. It's only right that young people have a say in their future. That's why we undertook a review of the current youth services in the city, giving young people a stronger voice about the type and location of services they want.
We were elected on a promise to make our city carbon neutral by 2030. The carbon crisis impacts all of us, and we have to act quickly to bring carbon emissions down, improve air quality and safeguard our city for future generations. We set up a carbon neutral programme and the city's first ever climate assembly, and you can join that conversation online right now via the council website.
In administration, we gained approval for plans to install solar panels on 500 council homes across the city, helping cut tenants' fuel bills by up to £150 a year and cutting carbon emissions by 300 tonnes a year.
We pledged to develop a fully coordinated local cycling and walking infrastructure plan for the city, and we have. It's due to come to committee soon, and we We'll make sure it will attract investment to the city and aid active travel.
We delivered on our promise to install hundreds of on-street electric vehicle charging points to support greener forms of transport.
We oversaw the management of an unprecedented pandemic, distributing PPE to the front line and supporting our essential services. We lobbied government for local powers to manage the outbreak, were tough on calling for people to stay away from our city when the infection rate was highest, and we helped support vulnerable and shielding residents with food, medicines and companionship. We set the wheels in motion for a review on our Health and Wellbeing Board to ensure that everybody in our city can have a voice and be heard.
We began work towards making Brighton and Hove a health and wellbeing hub of active living and healthy lifestyles, which will improve the outcomes of residents across the city.
This is what a Labour minority council working with partners and residents achieved in a year. Now imagine what we could achieve with a Labour majority council. Imagine what we could achieve with a Labour government.